Okay, so let's just dive right in. I want you to imagine a civilization so vast it covers 25 million inhabited worlds, an empire that's lasted for 12,000 years. Now imagine one man, a mathematician, who figures out it's all about to come crashing down. This is the story of Hari Seldon and his absolutely audacious plan to save the future of all humanity.
You know, these aren't the words of some wild-eyed prophet. This is just an ordinary citizen seeing the cracks start to show. The Galactic Empire, for all its power and glory, is just rotting from the inside out. And Seldon's math isn't predicting a recession or some political shakeup. No, he is charting the complete and total collapse of galactic society.
So, how could one guy possibly know all this for sure? Well, Seldon literally invented a new field of science to do it. He called it psychohistory. The basic idea is that you can't predict what one person will do, but you can predict what billions of people will do. It treats humanity like a giant statistical force, letting him forecast the future of civilizations with terrifying accuracy.
And the number his equations spit out? It's just horrifying. 30,000 years. That's how long the new Dark Age is going to last after the Empire falls. 30,000 years of chaos, barbarism, and forgetting. I mean, just think about that. That's a span of time that makes all of our own recorded history look like a weekend.
Now, faced with this awful certainty, what does Seldon do? He doesn't just write a paper about it. He creates a plan, a gambit. He knows he can't stop the fall. That's already baked in. But he thinks he can shorten that Dark Age from 30,000 years all the way down to just 1,000. But to pull that off, he's got to start messing with the present.
And his first real test doesn't come from some alien invasion or rival star system. Nope, it comes from right there inside the capital itself. A popular new leader is on the rise, and if he succeeds, he's going to speed up the collapse and wreck Seldon's plan before it even gets off the ground.
The guy's name is Joranum, but everybody calls him Jojo, and he's good. He's tapping into all this public anger and aiming it like a weapon at the Emperor's First Minister, a guy named Eto Demerzel. If Joranum takes Demerzel down, the chaos that follows could make that 30,000-year Dark Age permanent. Seldon knows he has to step in.
But Seldon's strategy isn't about grand gestures or big armies. His whole philosophy is based on a principle he calls minimalism. See, the idea is that big changes just create more chaos. The real art is finding the one tiny pressure point, the smallest possible nudge that will create the massive result you want down the line. It's like a cosmic game of billiards.
So his plan to stop Joranum? Oh, it's a thing of beauty, a three-step masterpiece. First, he digs up Joranum's secret. He's actually from a super traditionalist, almost cult-like sector called Mycogen. Second, he has his own son Raych start a wild rumor that First Minister Demerzel is a secret robot. It's a crazy accusation, but it forces Joranum to publicly deny it, which, third, gets the attention of the fiercely anti-robot folks on Mycogen, who then expose Joranum as a heretic who abandoned their ways.
And boom, it works. Perfectly. The whole thing collapses. Jordanium's support just evaporates in the face of a religious scandal. He gets exiled, not as a political martyr, but as a total fraud. And just like that, Seldon has his proof of concept. With the right math, one person really can steer the course of history.
But that victory, that was just the opening move. You see, the Seldon plan wasn't a one-and-done deal. It was a lifetime of secrets, of manipulation, and immense personal sacrifice that would just keep getting heavier and more complicated over the next few decades.
After that whole Joranum affair, Seldon actually gets pulled into the center of power himself. He becomes First Minister. But the decay just keeps going. The Emperor gets assassinated, and then a new, much more dangerous conspiracy rises up, led by Joranum's old followers.
And to fight this new threat, Seldon needs someone he can trust absolutely. So he turns to the one person he can, his son, Raych. He asks him to go deep undercover, to join the conspiracy that's now actively sabotaging the capital, to turn the public against the government.
And this is where you really feel the personal cost of the plan. To make his disguise work, Raych has to shave off his signature mustache. It's such a small detail, but for Seldon it represents this enormous, terrifying risk. As he writes later, the mustache can grow back, but if something happens to his son, that's permanent.
And the danger Raych is in is very, very real. This new group isn't just about speeches anymore. We're talking coordinated attacks on the planet's infrastructure, they're embedding spies deep inside the government, and their endgame is to assassinate the military leaders not running the empire and just seize power for themselves. Now, Raych does succeed, but the whole thing takes a huge toll, and through it all, Seldon starts to realize that his math, his perfect, beautiful plan, might actually have a fatal flaw. Something he never saw coming is about to change the entire game. I mean, think about it. Psychohistory works because it predicts what huge masses of ordinary people will do. But what if people weren't ordinary anymore? What if some new kind of human mind came along, a variable his equations could never, ever account for? The very first clue comes from his own granddaughter, Wanda. She's just a kid, and she's looking at all these incredibly complex psychohistory equations on a screen. She points to one section and just says, "It's not pretty. It's not a logical critique, you know? It's purely intuitive."
Seldon's lead mathematician, Yugo Amaryl, is completely baffled by this. But he checks the math where Wanda pointed, and he finds out she was 100% right. There was a subtle flaw, something no one else had seen, and she just sensed it. It wasn't random at all.
And that's when it hits him. The revelation is absolutely staggering. Wanda has mentalic powers. It's like her intuition is so powerful, it's practically a form of mind reading. She can sense the truth in data, feel people's emotions, even gently influence their thoughts. Seldon realizes his plan needs protectors with these powers, a secret group to steer it from the shadows. So this just reshapes his entire strategy. He now designs two foundations. The first foundation is the public one. All the physical scientists sent to the edge of the galaxy to a planet called Terminus. Their official job is to write a giant Encyclopedia Galactica to preserve knowledge. But the second foundation, that one's a complete secret. It's made up of mentalics like Wanda, hidden somewhere else entirely, to be the unseen guardians of the whole plan. So, with his life's work almost done and his own health fading, Seldon gets ready to play his final hand. His last act is to make sure both his foundations get established, even if it means making himself an enemy of the very empire he's trying to save. And here's how he pulls it off. It is brilliant. The encyclopedia is the perfect cover story, right? It lets him legally gather all the best scientists on the capital planet. Then, he basically uses his own predictions to make himself and his project look like a huge political threat to the government. The government, just wanting this old troublemaker gone, offers him a choice: execution or exile. And Seldon, of course, gladly accepts the exile to Terminus, the exact planet he'd secretly chosen for the Foundation years earlier.
In the end, the plan is in motion. The foundations are on their way. But Seldon, in his final days, is left wondering about the human cost of it all. He saved the galaxy, sure, but he thinks about the people closest to him who were lost along the way, and he questions if he could have made some small tweak to his grand equations to save them too.
And that really leaves us with the ultimate question of Hari Seldon's entire life. His plan is an incredible feat of intellect, a bet on a galactic scale. But is it really enough? Can one man's vision, no matter how brilliant, actually contain and guide the messy, unpredictable, chaotic tide of human history for 1,000 years? Well, that remains to be seen.